Our topic today is about dividing polynomials. Note: the exponents of your dividend must be arranged in order from highest to lowest. Your dividend is this. So we have x squared minus 3x plus 2 divided by x minus 2. And x minus 2 is your divisor. So how is this done? The dividend stays inside the division house. So it's going to be here x squared minus 3x plus 2. And as you can see, the exponents are arranged from highest to lowest. So this is a power of 2, this is a power of 1, and this is x to the power of 0. We don't have to write that down because that is equal to 1. So 1 times 2 is 2. So now our divisor stays out here. So it's going to be x minus 2. So let us begin the dividing process. When you're dividing, you're going to take the first term and you're going to divide it by the first term of your divisor. So x squared divided by x. Just for us to clearly see it, I would suggest you writing it here on the side. X squared divided by x is x. So we're going to put that x. I will suggest put it like above where the x is. So put it there. X times x is x squared. So we're going to put it here, x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. So let me backtrack a little bit. When we were dividing, we were just dividing the first term of our dividend with the first term of our divisor. That's all you do. On your way down, though, you're going to multiply your what you got with your first term of the divisor and including the second term, which is why we got this. Remember, on your way up, it's just this, and on your way down, it has to be both of them. So it would now look like this. You're going to subtract them both. So this. This minus this is 0. This minus this, so negative 3 minus negative 2 is negative 1x. And you're going to bring this down, positive 2. And you're going to divide again the first term of your divisor again. Dividend. So negative 1x divided by x. So negative x divided by x is a negative 1. So our answer is negative 1. On your way down, you will have to multiply negative 1 with x and negative 2. So how is that? Is negative 1 times x is negative 1x or negative x. Negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. And you're going to subtract, and the answer is 0. So you have 0 remainder. Therefore, this is the quotient. So let's label that. That's your quotient. The way to check it is if you multiply this binomial with this divisor, you must come up with this trinomial. And that's how you would check it. Now let's go to example number 2. So I have x squared plus 5x plus 3 divided by x plus 6. So again, this is your dividend. This is your divisor. So let's begin. X squared divided by x. Again, if we do it here on the side, that's our scratch paper right here on the side. This is going to be an x. So we're going to put x here on top. On your way down, you will have to multiply your quotient x with x plus 6. So x times x is x squared. X times positive 6 is positive 6x. And you're going to subtract. This is a 0, but this is a negative 1x. Bring down your positive 3. So again, we're on our way up. So negative 1x divided by x is a negative 1. Negative 1 times x is negative 1x. Or by the way, you can just write negative x if you like. It's the same. So negative 1 times positive 6 is negative 6. And you're going to subtract. So negative 1 minus itself is 0. Positive 3 minus negative 6 is the same. Negative minus negative is the same as plus. So that is positive 9. That is your remainder. So how do we write the remainder? You know it's positive 9. So on here, I'm going to put positive, but then I will have a fraction, 9 on top, and this below. X plus 6. This whole thing is my quotient. Okay, example number 3. We are now going to divide this whole dividend with this divisor. However, as you can see, it's not arranged from the greatest exponent to the least. So this cannot be done. It can only be done if we arrange it. So we're going to arrange it right now. This goes first. This goes next. This goes next. And this goes to the last. Divisor stays on the same spot, but we need to tweak it again. It's going to be x minus 1. It's the same. So we may now begin the dividing process. X to the third divided by x is x squared. X squared times x to the first power is x to the third. X squared times negative 1 is negative 1x squared. And then we're going to subtract. The first term minus this is 0. This minus this is negative 4x squared. Bring down positive 8x. And we will continue the dividing process again. So 4x to the second power divided by x. I might need my scratch paper here. So negative 4x squared divided by x is a negative 4x, because that will cancel out. That will just be a 1x right there. So it's going to be a negative 4x right here. I multiplied this by this. It's going to be a negative 4x squared. This times this is positive 4x. And I'm going to subtract. This minus this is 0. This minus this is 4x. Bring down the 4. And again, the dividing process. This divided by this is a positive 4. Positive 4 times x is 4x. Positive 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. We will subtract. Double negative is a positive, so that's going to be an 8. And that is our remainder. And again, I taught you how to write the remainder a while ago. That's a positive 8, so you're going to put a plus. And it's going to be a fraction, 8 on top. And your divisor at the bottom. So x minus 1. This whole thing is your quotient. We are now on example number 4, and at this point, you might need to turn your page to the next page because you might need to overflow already. Okay, so our dividend is 42x squared minus 33, and that is divided by 7x plus 7. This is our divisor. We have a little situation here. As you can see, we have a power of 2, but we're missing the x to the power of 1. And when you're dividing, that must be there. If it's not, then you cannot use the long division. So how are we going to proceed dividing with this, with the missing x to the first power? So what we're going to do is I'm going to copy this down. And I'm going to add a 0x to the power of 1. And then I'm just going to put this here, negative 33. If you don't put 0x to the first, then you cannot proceed to the divide. It has to be inserted there. So now that it's inserted, we can begin the dividing process. This is going to be here, 7x plus 7, and we're going to proceed. 42x squared divided by 7x is 6x. 6x times 7x is 42x squared. 6x times 7x is, again, positive 42x. And we're going to subtract. This is 0. And this minus this is negative 42x. Bring down negative 33. Negative 42x divided by 7x. Okay, your scratch paper is on the side. You might need to use it. Feel free to use it. This is gone. Answer is negative 6. So I'm going to put here negative 6. Negative 6 times 7x is negative 42x. Negative 6 times positive 7 is negative 42. We're going to subtract, and that is going to be a positive 9. And that is a remainder. So we're going to write down plus and then the fraction 9 over 7x plus 7. This is your quotient. Okay, for my last example, I would like to give you another example that where you need to insert a 0. So as you can see, I have x squared minus 28 divided by x minus 5. And again, you have a power of 2, but you don't have a power of 1. And that cannot be done. It cannot be divided unless you go ahead and insert that 0 times x to the power of 1. So let's do it. X squared plus 0x minus 28 divided by x minus 5. So let's begin. X squared divided by x is x. X times x is x squared. X times negative 5 is negative 5x. Then we subtract. This is a 0, but double negative is a positive 5x. Bring down negative 28. 5x divided by x is a positive 5. Positive 5 times x is 5x. Positive 5 times negative 5 is negative 28. Minus is going to be a negative, I'm sorry, 5 times 5 is 25. That's a 5. And 28, negative 28 minus negative 25 is a negative 3. And that's your remainder. So we're going to write that down. My bad. This is now a negative. Okay, that's a negative 3. So that's a negative, and then the fraction, negative 3 over x minus 5. This is your whole quotient.